You're watching Business Connections Live. Great show today. My guest on today's program, we're talking about innovation for growth, no matter what size your business is. And joining me in the studio is Costas. Go on, you've got to give us your name one more time. It is.
My full name is actually Costas Papaikonomou, and I suggest we just keep it to Costas. We service businesses that have basically operate in consumer worlds. So this could be in food and drink, could be in pharma, could be in home care, could be in cleaning products, could be in oral care, toothpaste, things like that. These are all products that are basically for the mass market. We help these businesses come up with what is the next thing to do. Because very often, you can imagine, if you work in laundry detergents, which have been around for so long, and so many things have already been on shelf and left the shelf again, it's quite hard to come up with, well, what's the next thing that's actually not only going to make consumers happy, but also going to make us as a business a little bit of money. It is consumer research to understand within a particular category. So if, for example, let's say, well, we have clients who make beer, big brewers. How do you figure out what is the next type of beer that would actually have a little bit of traction in market? Innovation is a big deal. Let's put that up front. I mean, by now I could say, I think at Happen we figure out how to do it, but it is a big deal for any business, whether you're a small business or a large business. So typically the people who are in charge of innovation projects within our clients maybe see 5 or 10 of those throughout their whole career. And a typical question that would come in at the beginning, when literally people walk in through the door, is say, how do we get to something disruptive? I think they know disruption means disrupting something in the market, which means offering something genuinely new to consumers. I think what they overlook is it also means disrupting your own organization, because it's probably something very different from what you made or assembled before, and that means you probably need to get rid of half your organization and replace it by something that can create the disruption. Again, it's so interesting to look at it through a business lens, because on the one hand you'll have someone inside a business, whether it's a small business or a large business, thinking about what do we do next, and they themselves are consumers as well, so they see particularly their competition doing all kinds of things of which they wish, wow, if only we had that, because that's probably where we should go. On the other hand, a big innovation probably requires a significant investment. If you just look at what makes innovation work or not, it doesn't really matter if there's a big business or a small business sitting behind it, because it's in the end, it's...
Do you think they're the same problems?
Of course it's the same problems, because you're servicing the same consumers. It's the same quality you need to embed in that product. What might be different, though, is you might be servicing the consumer, basically the same consumers in their same frustrations or the same happiness. The way you answer that is different. If you are a large organization, you will have different considerations on how you can effectively do that. But in large organizations, the responsibility for innovation might sit with someone with like a marketing background, who sits on a different continent maybe from the manufacturing, who sits on a different continent again from the R&D. So that person responsible for innovation might be looking at the market data, and they get the reports coming in every day or every week, and they're looking, well, I see competitor X, Y, and Z move in that direction, creating these types of products. We should go there too, with no understanding or knowledge of what they themselves are actually good at from a product manufacturing point of view, for example. I guess what underlies all of this is understanding that innovation, whether it's big or small, is a disruptive force. If you would look at a business, a small one or a big one, doesn't really matter. In the end, a business is a unit which you're trying to run as efficiently as possible, as predictable as possible, to create products. Whether it's services or real products, whether it's food products or cleaning products, doesn't matter. What you want to do is you want to press a button, raw ingredients go in, and finished goods come out. And it happens in a predictable form. Now, in a way, innovation gives you the opposite of what operational excellence gives, because operational excellence is all about squeezing the last few percentages out, whereas innovation comes in and says, we're going to disrupt that beautifully efficient process, and we're going to have to do something different. Well, thank you for listening. It's been a real pleasure. My name is Costas from Happen, innovation agency servicing crowded markets across the globe. When you're innovating, whether it's from a small business or a larger business, there's really 4 things that you need to keep an eye on. One is understand why you're innovating. What's the business reason for actually even doing anything? Which means you need to understand, are you solving a big problem or a small problem? The second is work on insights you can actually act upon. So if you're working in a salad business and you're creating salads, spend some time with people while they're eating salads if you want to see some new things. Don't get it from reports that talk about what it was like when people were thinking about eating salads. The third one is create ideas that actually make commercial sense, and that might be not copying your competition, but do things that are right for you. And the fourth one is energize the business into action, which means it's not just the people creating the ideas that are going to push it through. The whole organization needs to sit behind it, which goes all the way from the top all the way to the bottom, because there are a lot of naysayers probably scattered around any organization, and it's making sure that they go into yes mode that will really help your ideas fly. That's what it comes down to. It's what we've been doing for 10 years.